The conference is an occasion to discuss issues of mutual interest and concerns. Such initiatives have immense potential to generate ideas and concepts that can create a momentum for further discussions and concrete conclusions. A very good afternoon, dignitaries on the dais, distinguished guests, dear colleagues, researchers, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to our third international conference on enterprise and entrepreneurialism in tourism and hospitality. It's my immense pleasure to introduce the members on the dais. Dr. Sara Hussain is our head of the department and conference chair for the evening. Professor Nimit Chaudhary is a former head and conference co-chair. Professor Muhammad Asuddin, Dean Faculty of Humanities, and Dr. Nazim Hussain Al-Jafri, Registrar, are our conference patrons. Our keynote speaker for the evening is Professor Singh Manhasar. Mr. Vinod Juchi, former IAS, is our guest of honor, and Professor S.P. Bansal, Vice Chancellor, Central University of Himachal Pradesh, would be gracing the occasion as our honorable chief guest. And our Honorable Padma Shri Professor Najma Akhtar, Vice Chancellor and Conference Chief Patron, would be presiding the session. I would like to express my most sincere gratitude for your august presence in this opening ceremony of our conference. God, our Creator, has restored within our minds and personalities great potential, strength, and ability. Prayer help us to tap and develop these powers. I invite upon Muhammad Firoz for the recitation of Holy Quran.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope I'm audible. Good afternoon, everybody. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع ذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين صدق الله العظيم. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Firoz, for creating such a divine aura. I now take this opportunity to invite Professor Muhammad Asuddin, Dean Faculty of Humanities and Languages, and our conference patron to kindly deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Najma Akhtar Sahaba, Professor Nazimul Hassan Jafri, Registrar Jamia Islamia, problem with my connectivity issues. Professor Pariksha Singh Manhas, who is the keynote speaker today. Mr. Vinod Juchi, IAS, guest of honor. Professor S.B. Bansal, and all the participants who have logged in from within the country and outside the country. The Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Jamia Millia Islamia, is organizing the third International Conference on Enterprise and Entrepreneurialism in Tourism and Hospitality from January 28th to the 30th, 2022. This year, the theme of the conference is based on enterprise and entrepreneurialism, which will help in understanding the needs of entrepreneurs, not just limited to tourism and hurdles of starting a business and making India a leading location for startups and business from both the supply and the demand sides. The conference will provide an opportunity for the researchers at the global level to come together, share their work and ideas with well-known delegates from all over the world, listen to insightful keynote presentations, participate in panel discussions, and create a network with participants researching in the field. Tourism is one field that has seen exponential growth before the pandemic. And during the pandemic, it is one of the sectors that has been hardest hit. And if green shoots have to be visible, it will be first visible in the tourism sector. So it is at this juncture this conference is organized to brainstorm on different areas of tourism and the innovation and the cutting edge research and studies that will not only help recover this very potential areas of growth, but will chart new territories and new areas of research in the years ahead. The Department of Tourism in Jamia Millia Islamia is relatively new, but in the span of a very short time, it has marked its presence both nationally and internationally. I have no doubt that the deliberations during the coming 3 days will touch upon all the important areas that are relevant for tourism and hospitality industry, and both the speakers and the participants, they would learn a lot from these discussions that will help in the growth of the economy and the overall development of the country. I wish all of you very pleasant visit if some of you have physically visited. If not, then my best wishes for very fruitful discussions and establishing links together for future research and development. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words and your words of motivation. I now take this privilege to invite our Head of Tourism and Hospitality Department and our conference chair, Dr. Sarah Hussain Nam, to kindly introduce the conference to our gathering.
Thank you so much, Priya. Thank you, Professor Asaduddin, for your welcome address. Our chief guest of the day, Professor S.V. Bansal Sahab, our chief patron, Honorable Vice Chancellor Padam Shri Najma Akhtar Madam, Vinod Zutshi ji, who's the guest of honor today, Parikshit Manhas Sahab, who's the keynote speaker, our patron of the conference, Registrar Sahab, Professor Nazim Hussain Jafri, and Dean, Professor Muhammad Asaduddin Sahab, the conference delegates, and my dear colleagues. A very good afternoon to all of you present here in India, and also greetings as per the day to all our international delegates. I welcome you to the third international conference organized by the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management at Jamia Millia Islamia on enterprise and entrepreneurialism in tourism and hospitality. Jamia Millia Islamia is a central university and has been accredited NAC A++ grade. It was established in the year 1920, and university has just celebrated its centenary and has emerged as top-ranking educational institute in the country. Jamia Millia Islamia secured 6th rank among the top 10 universities of the country in the National Institutional Ranking Framework, NRIF 2021. The guiding philosophy, legacy, and endeavor have led it to establish strong academic relationships with universities and institutes all over the world. And being a top-rated multi-faculty university, Jamia Millia Islamia intends to contribute to the various facets of this fast-growing segment of tourism through collaborative plans, research, dialogues, and debate. University has MOUs with various universities and institutes from all across the world. And being located in Delhi, the university has very close associations with NGOs, travel companies, hotel chains, tourism suppliers, embassies, consulates, high commissions of various countries, from where we invite our experts, practitioners, and other stakeholders. Talking about the department, so the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, DTHM, was established in Jamia Millia Islamia in 2012. The department is devoted to excellence, tourism education, training, consultancy, research. DTHM has always experimented with innovative involvements. Since government at central and state levels are recognizing tourism as a priority area for economic development, it becomes imperative that DTHM reaches out to a variety of audiences that are directly and indirectly influenced by tourism activities. We chose this particular theme, enterprise and entrepreneurialism in tourism and hospitality, because entrepreneurship in tourism and hospitality contributes towards the fiscal growth of the country. It paves a way to increase employment opportunities for countrymen and ushers the nation on a growth trajectory. That is so much the need of the hour. It provides the service sector to be a part of the demand and supply chain, thereby assuring economic progress, socio-economic balance in the country. The university, having one of the most comprehensive tourism and hospitality departments in South Asia region, is alive to its pioneering role and responsibilities to align and serve India's priority of making it Atmanirbhar, while commemorating the 75 glorious years of independent India through Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Thus, through this international conference, Jamia Millia Islamia has envisaged to provide a forum for researchers, educationists, and practitioners in the field of entrepreneurship to exchange their research findings and experiences. It aims to attract an interesting combination of academic scholars, practitioners, and individuals who are involved in various dimensions of tourism and hospitality, innovation and entrepreneurship, education and research. The goal is to address the role of research and entrepreneurship in the context of contemporary tourism and hospitality. The conference intends to initiate and engage public discourse on the issues of the response and the resilience of entrepreneurship in the wake of COVID-19 and its aftermath on tourism and hospitality, with special contribution of women in tourism and hospitality entrepreneurship, the role of higher education and innovation in the domain to enhance the efficiency of entrepreneurship in tourism, and to welcome new avenues and opportunities offering solutions to the beleaguered industry and direction for its bright future. In addition to speakers from India, we appreciate greatly and heartily welcome all speakers, especially our respected overseas guests who are going to join us in spite of unfathomable time differences. They are Professor Dimitrios Bouhalis from Hong Kong Polytechnic University, Professor Konstantinos Andriotis From Middlesex University, London, University of South Pacific, Fiji. We have Professor Michael C. Hall from University of Canterbury. We have Dr. Tracy Harkinson from Auckland University. And during the course of the conference, we would also be joined by very senior government officials. They are Dr. Vinu Vasudevan, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary of Higher Education and Tourism, Government of Kerala. Ms. Rupinder Panu Brar, Additional Director General, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. The conference has plethora of deliberations. This conference would witness many panel discussions, technical tracks, keynote sessions, workshops, making it highly interactive and relevant for the industry and academia. The panel discussions would be on women in tourism and entrepreneurship, issues and challenges, tourism and hospitality entrepreneurship post-COVID-19 and way forward, tourism and hospitality entrepreneurship and higher education. And also there's a workshop being conducted by leading editors of highest quality journals on publishing in high quality journals. So this conference will help bring various stakeholders on a single platform to discuss future trends, ideas, implications, and methodologies underlying the theoretical and practical approaches for innovation and entrepreneurial growth in tourism and hospitality sector. The conference has attracted a good body of research papers, case studies, and presentations from all across the globe to be presented in the various technical sessions by the participants on sub-themes COVID-19 and entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurship, higher education and tourism and hospitality entrepreneurship, innovation and technology in tourism and hospitality, etc. Now coming to the expected outcomes or impact of the conference, which would be valuable insights on tourism and hospitality, enterprise and entrepreneurship by industry practitioners, academicians, government officials, an interactive and hands-on approach to carry out future research and new tools and techniques. Opportunity to dive deeper into areas such as globalization, innovation, artificial intelligence, entrepreneurial environment, entrepreneurial behavior, and more. Examples, illustrations, and case studies of the best practice interventions around the world. A networking opportunity to connect with international researchers, academicians, and practitioners. Opportunities for collaborative research with the experts in the field of entrepreneurship. And lastly, to recommend strategies to policymakers to promote tourism and hospitality entrepreneurial culture for accelerating growth and development in the country and be able to have wider market share. I would like now to thank our chief guest, Professor S.P. Bansal Sahab, and Mr. Vinod Zutshiji for taking out time from their extremely busy schedules for the conference. I thank Chief Patron, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Padam Shri, Professor Najma Akhtar Madam, patrons of the conference, Dean of our faculty, Professor Asaduddin, and our Registrar Sahab, Dr. Jafri, Professor Nazim Hussain Jafri, for their constant guidance, support, encouragement, so that we are able to accomplish our mission and vision of which this conference is a part. We are very thankful to the Ministry of Tourism for their support for the conference. And we are very thankful to the media for the extensive coverage of the conference. Our team has worked very hard to make this event a success. So I wish to thank the members of our department, especially Professor Nimit Chaudhary, who's the conference co-chair, Dr. Nusrat Yasmin, who's the organizing secretary, the organizing team, faculty members, our office staff, PhD scholars, and our students who have contributed in bringing together this event. We are celebrating 75 years of independence as a nation and 101 years of this grand university, and this conference is dedicated to these celebrations. So I look forward to 3 days of exhilarating intellectual stimulation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sure the participants will also find the conference useful and gratifying and shall have fruitful and meaningful exchanges throughout the conference. Now, I, on behalf of Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, extend a very warm welcome and immense gratitude to our Honorable Padam Shri Professor Najma Akhtar, Vice Chancellor and Conference Chief Patron, for joining in us. We welcome you, ma'am. Moving forward, I take this opportunity to invite upon Dr. Nazim Hussain Al-Jafri, Registrar, and our conference patron to kindly address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Najma Akhtar, Jamia Millia Islamia, Chief Guest Professor S.P. Bansal, Vice Chancellor, Central Universities of Himachal Pradesh, Guest of Honor, Sri Vinod Ji, Former Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, Professor P.S. Manhas, Director of Hospitality and Tourism Management, University of Jammu, Professor Muhammad Asaduddin, Dean Faculty of Humanities and Languages, and other delegates in this conference from India and abroad. It is my pleasure to extend a warm and cordial welcome to all of you to Third International Conference on Enterprise and Entrepreneurialism in Tourism and Hospitality, organized by the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Jamia Millia Islamia. Under the guidance of the Head Department of Tourism and Hospitality, Dr. Sara Hussain, as well as co-chair Professor Nimit Chaudhary and entire organizing team. I am very happy to see the theme of this conference, which is relevant to the present time when we need to boost our economy in the different industrial sectors and particularly in the tourism and hospitality market. I am sure that this conference will help the delegates in designing sustainable business opportunities, including social and cultural entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the is a key segment for making the industry successful. Our country is doing its best to develop an entrepreneurship economy that looks towards innovation as the only viable path in the future. We require highly motivated and educated individual entrepreneurs like our attendees participating in the conference. On this note, I conclude by welcoming everyone once again to this 3-day international conference on enterprise and entrepreneurialism in tourism and hospitality. I wish all the participants the very best in their future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your motivating words. I now take the opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Parikshit Singh Manhas, to the gathering. Dr. Parikshit Singh Manhas is a professor, Faculty of Business Studies and Rector, Udhampur Campus, University of Jammu. He is also coordinator of Global Understanding course at University of Jammu, being run in collaboration with East Carolina University, USA, and coordinator UGC for Innovative Program. He is also CEO and Promoter Director, University of Jammu for Special Purpose Vehicle Foundation. Also, he is Director, School of Hospitality and Tourism Management from 1st August 2013 to February 2020. Presently, he is member Task Force for Implementation of National Educational Policy 2020, Government of Jammu and Kashmir, and co-leader for Organizing Committee of UNWTO affiliate. He is also a Regional Director, Asia and Eastern Europe for CED. Also, he has been awarded major projects as the project leader under UK India Education and Research Initiatives. He was Commonwealth Fellow for the year 2014. He is also been awarded the major projects by University Grant Commission and Indian Council of Social Science Research, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. I invite you, sir, to kindly deliver the keynote address.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. A very good afternoon to Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Najma ji, and great congratulations for being conferred with Padam Shri. the first women Vice Chancellor of Jamia Millia. That's a huge pride for the nation and for the women of the nation. A very good afternoon to my elder brother, Professor Bansal sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Central University of Himachal Pradesh, who has always been guiding us through our journeys as a teacher, as a professor. A very good afternoon to Saraji, Nimit sir, Registrar, Honorable Registrar of the University, Vinod Zuchi sir, and all the dignitaries. I'll just take a second to share my presentation. Okay, I hope it's visible to everyone. So once again, dear friends, dear students who are participating in today's conference, this is a very, very unique opportunity for me to be speaking at such a high-level platform and talking about entrepreneurialism in tourism and hospitality. What I feel, it's going to be a game changer, and it's going to be a big game changer in times to come. And it's going to be one of those which is actually going to help us build up a very important aspect. And it's going to be one of those things which is actually going to help or propel India to the topmost positions around the globe, topmost position vis-a-vis our economic powerhead is concerned. Well, I would start with the fact that what differentiates an entrepreneur from an ordinary businessman, and how do we move around with this? Well, an entrepreneur is motivated by expansion. He's always worried about growth. He's always thinking of the fact that how can I grow? How can I build up? How can I expand my horizons? How can I expand my businesses? But a business owner is only motivated by the sales growth. Entrepreneur has huge risk-taking capabilities, and he embraces risk in a very, very progressive manner, in a very head-on manner, whereas a business owner is constantly trying to avoid risks. There are a lot of opportunities around us. There are a lot of opportunities going around us, and technology interventions are the one which are creating these opportunities, and an entrepreneur always keeps them in mind. Whereas businessman is only thinking about focuses on what is on hand and what are the current opportunities. Entrepreneur looks at his organization as an asset and wants to grow it, whereas a business owner always will have an emotional attachment. So that's something which is very, very tricky, which I would want youngsters to look at. Entrepreneur always has an idea, and whenever he gets an idea, he tries to build up that idea. He has a lot of data in his mind, he has a lot of information in his mind, and he uses this data and information, processes it over a period of time, and converts it into knowledge. And once this knowledge is converted, this idea builds up and it leads to a business. An entrepreneur, a person who always wanted to become an entrepreneur but never became one. He always has an idea and keeps that idea with him for next couple of years or next couple of months. So that's a huge disadvantage aspect. Some interesting facts about entrepreneurship. Why do we keep talking so much about innovation, incubation, startups, and entrepreneurships? We are always talking about these things, and especially since 2017, Modi ji has given a huge impetus to this particular factor, and they have been constantly promoting the fact that we want to be at the startup list of the world and we need to grow in a big way. Well, unicorns are the one which are driving the economy of the world, and China and US have the highest number of unicorns around amongst them. But within past 7-8 years, what India has done, India has grown its unicorns in a large number way. And the largest in the world is actually TikTok, which is with China, and it's growing up. But Indian unicorns are also building it up. What are the opportunities for youngsters? Where they can look at startups, where they can become entrepreneurs? Obviously, fintech is one of those. You must have seen that in India also, how fintech companies have been coming up. Paytm has been one of the leaders in this particular thing, and there have been other apps which have been coming up. But with the pandemic building up, with the healthcare sector also struggling in a big way, life science and healthcare is also doing very good. Artificial intelligence is another one. We all are concentrated towards edtech. Obviously, education technology companies are also building it up, and in past 2 years, the whole education crux has shifted towards online platforms. How we are teaching and how we are conducting ourselves, and even the government of India has, at the highest level, has been conducting its meetings, and everything has been going on online. And even in education sector now, the interviews are also being conducted in that way. There are a lot of trends in tourism and hospitality industry that can be used and that can be used as a motivating factor for entrepreneurs, and which can, you youngsters could always think of becoming entrepreneurs by using them. Well, there are lots and lots of alternatives available. Availability of alternatives is great. Yesterday only, or rather day before yesterday, I was talking to one of my students who was already working in a company, but suddenly he shifted and he started his own business. Because of the pandemic, he was rendered, rendered useless by his company, but then he started working on his own. And he was so optimistic about the fact that he was saying, sir, within another 5 years, I'll do a business of 100 crores. And I was so amazed by his factor. And we at School of Hospitality and Tourism Management also take a lot of pride in this fact, because we have produced 100 first-generation entrepreneurs in last 7-8 years. That's a huge number, and first-generation entrepreneurs. So there are a lot of alternatives available vis-a-vis this sector is concerned, tourism and hospitality is concerned. Connectivity, which has increased in India within past 7-8 years under the present government, the way the things have been revised, the way things have been building up, the way technology has been building up, and internet connectivity to the remotest region is going on. That is a huge game changer, and tourism and hospitality industry can thrive on it. Various online channels are opening up, which actually help in seamless transactions, and they complement the offline channels. They just don't override them, but they complement these offline channels. So that's a progressive sort of thing. Why do most startups fails? That's another aspect which I would like to tell you. Before I give you the strategies, I'll give you 6 strategies which you need to know about to become an entrepreneur in tourism and hospitality industry. But strategic planning is the first aspect because of which people fail, because there is no clarity vis-a-vis these strategic plans are concerned. And mind it, I'm going to share you with 6 strategies which I built up. So if you follow them, obviously this thing can be taken care of. Once you don't have a proper strategy, there's no clarity. That means you have not done sufficient amount of homework vis-a-vis your target markets are concerned. You have to constantly understand, read, understand how these target markets are going to behave, how they are going to build up, how they are going to work up, and what is the best that they are going to do. That's an important aspect. And obviously, the funding or capital is another very important aspect. Resources, which I feel, by resources I mean to say men, money, machinery, materials, and methods. So these are very important aspects. 30% or 29% of the startups also fail because of this. And obviously, some of them fail because of the lack of competition. Want to be an entrepreneur? Okay, so let me tell you what you need to do. You need to take care of lots and lots of obstacles, and how to counter those obstacles. What are the parameters that you should possess? That's what I'm going to talk to you about. First of all, the skills that you need to be an entrepreneur. Tech savviness, it's a most important aspect. We keep talking about innovation at the highest level in our country. Our Honorable Prime Minister keeps referring towards innovation, but how does innovation come? Technology interventions are the most which actually create innovation. So creativity and innovation comes after you are tech savvy. So have that technical knowledge. Try to build up that technical knowledge, and there's no age to stop learning. So keep learning, keep building it up. Have that tech savviness within you, because that will bring out that creativity and innovation in you. That will bring about that data literacy in you, because once you have more and more data around, you can process that data, weed out that data, create information out of it, create knowledge out of it, and be creative and innovative. Critical thinking, always look beyond the horizons. Try to look what is behind the wall. Try to see what nobody else can see. Have that digital marketing and business skills, because tech savviness is actually going to bring about that digital marketing and business skills, and you should possess them. Passion obviously is very important. Those leadership qualities. Commit to a lifetime of learning. That's my favorite. I always keep telling my students, commit to a lifetime of learning. If you stop learning, obviously you will stop growing. So there's no age. At any age, try to learn whatever you can lay hands on. Your quick decision making, caring. Be very, very compassionate. You have to take care of your employees. You have to take care of your peers. You have to take care of your subordinates. If you don't do that, you cannot grow. So you possess a vision, you build it up. After this, I'm going to give you 6 strategies which you need. First of all, it's defining the collaborative opportunities, values, and working levels. When you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to collaborate. Individually, you have very, very difficult chances of being successful. So try to collaborate, be defining these opportunities, values, working levels. And when you have a collaborative partner, define the working levels, who's going to do what and who's going to help. We always know about Bill Gates did the Microsoft thing, but there was a team behind him. Paul Allen was there. So there were so many people around him who were helping him out. So that's a very important aspect, and that is the first strategy which I would always want all my students or all youngsters listening to me today to follow. Second one is obviously understanding technology requirements with respect to the organizational and the functional boundaries. I already talked about the fact, be tech savvy. If you're not tech savvy, if you don't understand the technology requirements, if you don't understand how to use the technology, I'm very sorry to say that you will not be successful. You'll be just wasting your time and money. And understand within which respect of organizational and functional boundaries you have to use your technology. So start building up that, start working on those thought processes, and that is going to be very important. The third is the how factor of collaboration. Everybody wants partners, everybody wants peers, everybody wants friends around themselves, but how will that work out? With regards to research needs and applicability, who is going to do what? How factor? How actually I'm going to do this? A lot of people have ideas in their mind, but they don't know how to put them on a piece of paper, how to practically start using them. They put it on a piece of paper, but then they don't know how to practically implement it. That is an understanding which you all should build up. And this is what I think over the next 3 days is going to be brainstormed over here, that how factor of doing research needs applicability vis-a-vis innovation and startups is concerned. Look for long-term interrelationships. I will never say that you should look for short-term targets. The results are, if we look at the product life cycles curve, we always say development, growth, maturity, and decline, or introduction. So that is what we have. It is a bell-shaped curve, and it takes time to get to introduce the product, to help it grow. So look at long-term interrelationships rather than short-term targets. Don't build up these short-term targets that within 2 months we are going to achieve this, within 3 months. There is time. There's a saying written on all the national highways, we appreciate your hurry, but even hurry takes time. So we are looking at startups, obviously the gestation period because of the technology interventions and the way the information moves around has lessened. Earlier, what used to happen in 5 years, now it can happen in 5 months. But still, you have to understand that you are there in business for a longer time period. If you're looking at a short-term targets, if you're looking at skimming the market, I'm sorry, but you'll hardly make any money. You'll hardly get any profits. Removing grapevine communication among stakeholders. You understand how grapevine communication works. One person talks to 5 people, those 5 people talk to another 15, another talk to another 50, another talk to 500. Remove that. Directly talk to all your stakeholders who are going to help you in your entrepreneurial journey. Talk to all your stakeholders. By stakeholders, I mean to say your vendors, your suppliers, your buyers, your financiers, the people who are providing with you resources, your customers, your consumers, your employees. So remove all that grapevine communication amongst your stakeholders and start working on the fact that I have to directly communicate with them. Start open up direct communication channels. This is actually going to help you grow and be successful in your entrepreneurial journey. And establishing functional environment for interactions. We have environments, we have interactions, but they are not functional. We have boardroom meetings, but they are not functional. Why? Because there is no feedback loop. You never take feedback from the employees who are attending the meeting. You never talk to your peers. You never talk to your customers. Open up those functional environments. Talk to your customers, because what happens is in present where these edtech and fintech companies, where technology intervention is producing all these startups, what happens is customers are also very knowledgeable. Right from cradle to grave, when your product is moving, you have to look at the fact that you have functional environments. Make your customers as your participants in your processes. They have to be partners in your processes, participants in your processes. That's why you see whenever you fly on an aeroplane, moment you land, there's a survey waiting for you. You do a credit card shopping, there's a survey with you. You have some interactions online with various bankers, there's a survey waiting for you. Suddenly you get a message that there's a survey. Why? Because They want the customers to be their partners, their participants, not just onlookers. And this is the last one, ensuring the completeness internally and externally. Try to look at the fact that everything is completed internally and externally. Usually what we try to do is we try to bring about that completeness externally, whereas our internal resources or internal people or internal men, money, machinery, methods are not in proper order. So set your house in proper order if you want to work on. These are the two examples that I have, which really are doing very well. First is of the SIM cards, international travelers. AirAllo is doing very good service, and it provided eSIMs to 190 countries. So that's a very important aspect. They looked at this particular factor that a lot of people wanted affordable mobile data, but which they were not able to get once they were traveling, once they were on international roaming, and this is that brought up. And Hopin is another one, which Hopin actually, like we are doing using WebEx now. This is one of those platforms which actually helps people to have hybrid sort of conferences also, right? From 50 to 50,000 people can be accommodated, and they also started, and due to pandemic, they have grown in a very big and a progressive manner. And the last aspect which I want to talk about is the tourism advantage for India. Obviously, Zuchi sir is here, Bansal sir is here. They will talk about the tourism aspect, but this is something which India has, and you youngsters should try to look at opening up entrepreneurial setups in this region. There's robust demand in this, as far as this sector is concerned. We have hardly utilized any of our resources vis-a-vis tourism. We have ample amount of domestic resources. Indeed, that's why we are a country of all seasons. Incredible India campaign was built by Amitabh Khan based on these aspects only, because of the fact that we have robust demand right from medical tourism to health tourism, and we have sun, sand, sea, adventure, everything going good for us, and attractive opportunities. Government of India is supporting MSMEs in a big way, and SMEs also in a big way. So it's very important. Post-pandemic crisis or during pandemic crisis, as we are moving through, there are going to be lots and lots of opportunities. A lot of schemes are coming up. Policy supports are being provided by the Government of India, e-tourist visas, and then signing out with so many countries where who can get the visa on arrival aspect. So all these things are happening up. So government is on its part is also trying to build it up. Niti Aayog is coming out with new ideas regarding that. And as I already talked about, diverse attraction, 37 World Heritage Sites, 10 biogeographic zones, 80 national parks, 441 sanctuaries. The country's biggest coastline is dotted with several attractive beaches. A lot of things. Try to work upon it, try to build it up. These are the 5 mantras, obviously not given by me. They were given by our Honorable Prime Minister. I adapted them. Adaptability, efficiency, inclusivity, opportunity, and universalism. They are AEIOU of English. And you see adaptability. Obviously, as an entrepreneur, you have to be very, very adaptable, be very efficient. Inclusivity, take everybody along, take people from the marginalized community along with you. Opportunity, look at every idea as an opportunity for growth. Universalism, world is one big world. One big market where you can always exploit and start thinking of growing. That's a very important aspect. Last but not the least, this is my favorite, flexibility is the key. Be very, very flexible. Be willing to always adapt to changes. Be resilient. Obviously, these are tough times. Pandemic is taking its course, but it's very tough. So be resilient, self-care, take care of your team, take care of the workplace where you are working. Then only you can be very, very successful. Thank you. And thanks a lot for the opportunity, Saraji. Thank you, Nimitji, for this opportunity. Thanks a lot. Any questions? I'll be more than happy to answer them maybe after the conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening the gathering with such a meaningful and thought-provoking presentation. It's my proud privilege now to invite and introduce our guest of honor, Mr. Vinod Juchi, sir. Mr. Juchi joined Indian Administrative Service in 1982. He served as Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India from 2015 to 2017. He has 35 years of immense experience in public policy and administration, tourism, management, law, HRD, cooperatives, housing, and elections. Sir is an alumni of Harvard Kennedy School and MBA from FMS, Delhi University, and LLB from Law Faculty, Delhi University. He is offering consultancy and advisory services as consultant and advisor. He is sole proprietor of the firm Vinod Juchi Consultants and Advisor, registered at Delhi. Tourism, travel, and hospitality are his core subject of his consultancy and advisory. Mr. Juchi is also an advocate and is offering services as an advocate, legal consultant, and law advisor. He is also an expert in election and democratic governance. He is currently engaged by commission as domain expert for setting up museum in IIIDEM. Sir is a life individual member of Indian Council of Arbitration and is enrolled with ICA. I warmly welcome you, sir, and request you to kindly deliver your address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Priya, Professor Najma Akhtar ji, Professor S.P. Bansal ji, Professor Nazim Hussain Al-Jafri ji, Professor Muhammad Asaduddin, Professor Manhaz, Dr. Sara Hussain, Professor Divit Chaudhary, Dr. Nusrat Yasmin, esteemed guests, listeners and viewers, teaching faculty, staff, students, and ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be part of the inaugural ceremony of this international conference organized by the Central University of Jamia, Millia, Islamia, and I'm thankful to the Department of Hospitality and Tourism Management for giving me this opportunity to participate and share my thoughts this afternoon. I wish to also compliment the department and the tourism ministry for picking up a very pertinent, time-relevant, significant, and student-friendly subject for this conference. In fact, I remember having attended some 3 years ago one such conference at the department campus on rural tourism in India, a subject which is a very important theme for the country, but it is rarely discussed in such forums. So I was glad that department at that time also selected a very apt topic on the significant vertical of tourism, that is rural tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the theme of today's conference, let us first understand what is tourism entrepreneurship and entrepreneurialism. Friends, I will like to put it in a very simple form. Professor Manhaz has explained it in great detail, but for the interest of the students, tourism entrepreneurship is the professional application of knowledge, skills, competencies, and monetizing a tourism-related idea by starting a new enterprise or diversifying from an existing one with the objective of pursuing growth while generating wealth, generating employment, and serving the social good. And entrepreneurialism, ladies and gentlemen, is that process and function within which a person translates the idea of a product or service into its tangible form. In fact, history has proved that entrepreneurialism has most of the time resulted in inflection point changes in the industries, in the nations, and in the world. Entrepreneurialism, I must say, ladies and gentlemen, is bringing innovations. It is also sometimes disruptions. Therefore, my dear students and young professionals, for understanding tourism entrepreneurship and to invoke entrepreneurialism in the sector, firstly, you have to have the professional knowledge, acquire relevant skills, develop competency. Secondly, you have to convert a new idea into reality. Thirdly, the enterprise so formed must grow alongside generating money, providing employment, and serving the public good. And last but not the least, an entrepreneur must have certain qualities of mind. He has to be passionate towards his work. He has to be ambitious to achieve the desired goal. He has to be resilient to face ups and downs. And he has to be spirited, laborious, and industrious. In fact, you know what is entrepreneur called in Hindi? It's called Udyami. And Udyami also means parishrami and sahasi. So being a successful entrepreneur and to run an enterprise in a successful manner, it is not just the knowledge and skills that is required. You need to have certain personality traits which can also be developed. Some are inborn, some can even be developed. And let me also tell you, dear students, that never before did the tourism sector require entrepreneurship more than now. COVID has transformed the travel and tourism landscape. The pandemic has changed the behavior or preferences of travelers. It has thrown new areas and opportunities requiring greater application of technology, and it has disrupted the conventional ecosystem of job requirements in the sector. The new normal trends, therefore, requires new business models and innovative strategies by industry. It requires new skill sets and digital learning at the level of academia, and it needs new policies from the union and the state governments. Ladies and gentlemen, taking cognizance of the role and responsibility in promoting entrepreneurship in the change scenario, the union government and the Ministry of Tourism have taken large number of steps. Since I've been a part of the ministry, I consider it my responsibility to flag some of the initiatives in the interest of students and young professionals. Friends, the new draft National Tourism Policy envisages building a strong ecosystem for entrepreneurship, comprising through the startup initiatives, by bringing MSMEs in the tourism sector, by making entrepreneurship in tourism more inclusive, and by driving skill development by speed, scale, and standardization. I shall briefly touch upon all the 4 initiatives. Startup initiative. Friends, a startup entrepreneur registered on the Startup India portal can have lots of benefits. He can have an access to the knowledge bank, to the online guide to start a business. He can avail valuable services for free from partner providers, including legal help, including banking, including cloud services, and he can even connect with a wide range of the mentors, the incubators, and the accelerators. Friends, as you are aware, we have a long list of success stories of startups in travel and tourism sector. I would like to cite a few cases in order to motivate and inspire the young entrepreneurs and the young professionals of Jamia Millia. ClearTrip is an online travel aggregator which was founded in 2005. GoIbibo was founded by 5 young professionals of India in 2007. Oyo was founded by one Mr. Ritesh Agarwal when he was 21 years old. And I remember Mr. Ritesh Agarwal, once he came to my office when I was secretary in the ministry, and when he entered my office, I could not believe that he is the owner, CEO of Oyo. In fact, I thought that he's the person who has accompanied Mr. Ritesh Agarwal. And I told him that I couldn't imagine that such a young boy, 25-year-old boy, CEO of Oyo. And by that time, Oyo had established very well. You have Make My Trip, ladies and gentlemen, one of the older travel startups. And there are many more. In fact, today, startups in travel and tourism sector have occupied a predominant role, in the sector, both in India and all over the world. In fact, I wish to inform the students that I'm mentoring 2 startups in the tourism and travel space. One is Willowtail, which are doing a great job on homestays and rural tourism. And lately, just about a fortnight ago, they won the National Startup Award 2021 in the travel sector. The other is Highway Delight, based in Bangalore. They are like highway partners. They have made an application and portal which will provide safe stays on the highways, service stations, medical aid, roadside dhabas, restaurants. You can even book there. Now, these are the innovations. Somebody has thought about it. Why did someone did not think about it 10 years ago, 5 years ago? So there are lots of ideas. And as Professor Manhas has also mentioned, there is no dearth of scope. You have many the travel trade, hospitality, the themes. I won't like to go into the details of the themes which are available. You touch anywhere and you have a lot of scope in the travel and tourism sector. Coming to MSMEs, friends, it goes without saying that MSMEs are the backbones of the Indian tourism and travel sector. However, we have seen that many travel and tourism enterprises have not registered under MSME. The MSME registration benefits again include many things: getting low interest rate from bank, getting loan up to 5 crores, seeking concessions on electricity bill, then getting additional overdraft facility from the bank, and seeking earnest money deposit exemption when they apply against a tender. Lately, the Finance Ministry has also announced 5 lakh free tourist visa scheme, and they have included tourism sector in the credit guarantee scheme and collateral free liquidity support. That means it's easy for the MSMEs. If travel and tourism enterprises are registered under MSME, it will be easier for them to get the credit support, which has been one of the biggest challenges and biggest issues during the recent pandemic. Thirdly, ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurship program, Ministry of Tourism is directly running a scheme of conducting the entrepreneurship development program. It offers short quality training courses. Some of them are cookery, bakery, and homestays. And in order to make entrepreneurship more inclusive, the new draft national policy lays great emphasis in promoting women in entrepreneurship. And lastly, friends, the new tourism policy emphasizes driving skill development by speed, by scale, and by standardization. And ladies and gentlemen, it is this area of skill development where academia and industry have to collaborate, have to cooperate, have to communicate with each other to help in augmenting entrepreneurship among the students and young professionals and propagate entrepreneurialism. As for you students, you would have to acquire new skill sets, new learnings, greater depth of knowledge of digital and modern technology, including artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, VR and AR, 3D printing, robotics, UV technology, and Internet of Things. My dear students and young professionals, do not be deterred by COVIDs and Omicrons. They may have proved disaster for the travel and tourism sector in the short run, but it has thrown many new opportunities for future, which any disruption in business does. And one such biggest opportunity, friends, is that the need for augmenting entrepreneurship in the travel and tourism space. To sum up, an enabling new tourism policy, the rise of MSMEs, the startup revolution, and the advent of modern technology augurs well for a bright future of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurialism in travel, tourism, and hospitality sectors of India. What is required now from you students is arise awake and stop not till the goal is reached. This is a famous quote of Swami Vivekananda. Ladies and gentlemen, I stop here. But before I close, my thanks once again to Jamia Millia Islamia University and to the Tourism Department. And I'm thankful to all listeners and viewers for giving me a patient hearing. I'm sure the deliberations during the 3-day conference will throw many more ideas and take the spirit of entrepreneurship in tourism to commanding heights. I wish the conference all the very success. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, sir, for your captivating words of wisdom and sharing such practical insights. Now, moving forward, the ongoing creative involvement of scholarly zeal offers solid crystallization of progressive ideas. I thank and appreciate the efforts of global eminent intellectuals and expert researchers for contributing their research work and accelerating the academics to great heights. I'm happy to announce the release of a book of abstracts, and I invite Dr. Nusrat Yasmin, Organizing Secretary of the conference, to commence the release.
Thank you, Dr. Priya. A very good afternoon to all. It's my honor and pleasure to warmly welcome all of you once again in this inaugural session of Third International Conference on Enterprise and Entrepreneurialism in Tourism and Hospitality. I thank you for consenting to our request and making time to attend this session and unveiling the book of abstract, which includes the research works and abstract received from India and outside India. The conference had attracted a good body of research papers, case studies, and presentations from all across the country to be presented in various technical sessions by the participants. The conference will help to bring various stakeholders on a single platform to discuss future tourism trends, ideas, implications, and methodologies underlying the theoretical and practical approaches for the innovation and entrepreneurial growth in tourism and hospitality sector. Now, we shall go ahead with the release of the book of abstract. Thank you.
Thank you, T. I now take the opportunity to extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Professor S.P. Bansal Sir, Vice Chancellor, Central University of Himachal Pradesh. Professor S.P. Bansal Sir is a Vice Chancellor, Central University of Himachal Pradesh, Dharamshala. He is a former Vice Chancellor of Himachal Pradesh Technical University, Indira Gandhi State University, Mirpur, PS Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, Sonipat, and Maharaja Agrisen University. He is a professor in tourism management, HPU Shimla. He is also a council member, AICT, Government of India. He is in the board of governors of IITTM and IIM Amritsar. He is the chairperson, All India Board of Tourism and Hospitality. He is also the president of Indian Tourism and Hospitality Congress. Sir is an advisor and visiting professor at the University of European Tourism, Italia, Milano, Europe. He is an expert member, Maharashtra and Himachal Higher Education Council. Professor Bansal is founder, chief editor, Tourism Development Journal for Tourism Innovations and also Tourism Spectrum. I warmly welcome you, sir, and request you to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you, Dr. Priya. First of all, I take this opportunity to offer my tribute of love and admiration towards the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Najma ji, and her team, Nimit ji and Madam, giving me a chance to be here to share, to be a part of this very important event. First of all, really big congratulations to Ma'am Najma ji for conferring the prestigious Padam Shri Award, which is the 4th highest civilian award. A big congratulations from the teaching fraternity as well as from the Vice Chancellor's community, as one of our colleagues got this very prestigious award. Congratulations, ma'am. Honorable Vice Chancellor of the university, Mr. Vinod Joshi, former Secretary of Tourism, Government of India, Keynote Speaker, Professor Parikshit Manhas, Registrar of the University, Professor Najim, Professor Asaduddin, Dean, Dr. Sara, HOD of the department, Professor Nimit Chaudhary, co-chair and former HOD. It's my great privilege to congratulate to the department for organizing such important conference on very important thematic area, which is really need of the hour. And as well as when the country is celebrating 75-year Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, as well as university celebrating its 101 year of its establishment. And my big congratulations to the department. Though I know that this is A++ grade university, and every department always took a great initiative, new initiative, pioneer of taking the innovative, making the innovative strategy. And I'm very much hopeful that ultimately after this conference compendium will be prepared and will be submitted at the right platform for its right decision making. Dear friends, earlier two great speakers, they have already told much about the present scenario and the situation of the tourism industry. All we know that the COVID-19 pandemic has placed the tourism industry under immense financial strain. And what has unfolded around the world in the past couple of months is unprecedented. In this time of uncertainty, all industries are reeling, but it is the tourism and hospitality sector that has been hit the most, given all the border closures, travel restrictions, lockdowns, airline, cruise operators and hotels, and which really are very tough time for this sector. Although COVID is probably the worst threat for tourism and travel has ever faced, and there is some room for seeing unity. Although and international tourism is resilient, and new alternatives such as the staycation tourist and digital and virtual tourist will restrain the concern of investors in the tourism and travel industry and of government around the world. It's really tough for all of us, and as all we know that COVID has jammed all our life and compelled all of us to rethink, revisit, and continues to push us towards a new normal. but at the same time, as a response to the need of sustainable and socially innovative tourism. All we know that the trend of staycation and slow tourism is growing, and more destinations now. This is also the need to promote at least the local tourism. Dear friends, as an academicians, we need to channelize our energy towards the innovative ideas by attending webinars and enhance our knowledge and skills. From social media to e-learning platform, hackathons and webinars, all the stakeholders of the tourism industry and all the academicians together as the Jamia Millia University and this tourism department has taken initiative to keep its flame ablaze. I believe that problems such as the current situation are not the stop sign for all of us, and they are the guidelines that will teach us, prepare us, and make us more stronger. We agree with it that in India, that travel and tourism contributes to around 8.1% to India's employment, or about 40 to 43 million jobs. Travel and tourism was the second fastest growing sector in the world, with 3.9% in 2018 after manufacturing, which grew by 4%. The travel and tourism industries in India accounts for 9.2% of the country's GDP and employ 8.1% of the population, with our total contribution of the forex is about $28 billion. Then how important this industry is. Therefore, now this in this crucial time, the real question before all of us, which need to be addressed during the 3 days conference. The questions are that how much will be the demand and supply, and how much travel demand will come back after this new normal. How much time it will take to return to its pre-virus level. Will demand patterns, including the split between business and leisure travel demand and other tourism forms, be different than before? How will the entire travel experience, from shopping for services to the quality of services delivered, will be different from than before? Yes, of course, dear friends, the answers are all interlaced, because all the factors that figure into the formation of demand, price, capacity, and the perceived value of the various aspects of the travel experiences are all highly variable, as well as intricately intertwined and interdependent. But one thing though is sure, that travel demand will return back with much faster rate. Yes, people will stop traveling in mass group tours, so industry suppliers must make adjustments accordingly. That is also the need of the hour, and we have to work out new modalities in terms of new tourism. Two major challenges why we are talking about new tourism. First challenge is that the some companies are withdrawing job internships offer after being negatively impacted by this Govt. Students are finding it harder to find internship, especially the foreign research opportunities, which play a key role in the interdisciplinary research and exposure to the global research facilities. It's really a very tough time for the academic fraternity in tourism sector. And the second challenge is to develop human resource under capacity building and service providers. All educational institutions may start, therefore, short-term online certificate courses as per because this is also the mandate of NEP 2020, like the professional tourist guide course, Hunar se Rozgar, skill testing and certification course, entrepreneurial development programs, etc. And therefore the main challenge before us to revive local tourism immediately, to revive state and regional tourism, followed by the revival of national domestic tourism, inbound and outbound tourism. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is essential to measure the COVID impact of COVID-19 and prepare a conjoint strategy involving both the government as well as the industry stakeholders, as the former secretary was talking, and which can be categorized into 3 phases. First phase is the survive phase, which we can give it as a name as a short term. phase: survival phase, second is the revival phase, medium term, and third is the thrive phase, that is the long term plan for the survival of the tourism industry. The twin challenges in the survival stage are to save businesses and save jobs. The center must provide businesses with institutional access to working capital and enable liquidity through a deferment of loan repayment or the other measures, and the center intends to help small businesses to access working capital by withdrawing a part of the loan amount. And similarly, on the demand side, the government as well as may take certain steps for the various stakeholders. And in the revive phase, slow easing of international travel restrictions will result in intense competition, as all the countries will have to target the same markets. This calls for a nimble and aggressive strategy for the specific micro markets focused on intense localized communication through social media. We need to therefore prioritize products and destination that would be the interest of the target market and ensure these deliver for the value of money. And the third strategy is the thrive phase, calls for an adaptation of the fundamentally changed tourism sector post COVID-19. But it is very important, and we also have to take care that the consumer preferences and tourism policy the world over are expected to evolve towards achieving greater sustainability and community orientation. Dear friends, we always build too many walls but not enough bridges. Therefore, it is required at this stage. And change is the nature of life, but challenge is the aim of life. So always challenge the change, but not change the challenge. Therefore, now it is required to have some kind of paradigm shift in new normal. As a response to the need of sustainable and socially innovative tourism, the trend of staycation and slow tourism is growing, and more destinations need to promote as a locally. This is required, and the second paradigm shift in new normal is there has been a paradigm shift in the travel industry, that traditional travel agents have been forced to modify and innovate their working style due to the birth of online travel agents and direct distribution of services by airlines and hotel websites. Yeah, therefore, when we are talking about the new tourism, we have to think about the business travel, which really decreased significantly. MICE market, which has gone into coma for a while. Group travel has already been shrink. Leisure travel also dwindled for some time, and lesser number of students now traveling overseas for study. Although last year 7,53,000 Indian students were studying in the universities abroad in 2019. Religious tourism has gone down. Mature travelers, retirees drastically impacted, or destination wedding suffered really. School trips dry up, hometown tripping, which was a big segment, and similarly shopping has suffered serious setback. As all we know that Indians are known to be shopaholics, and therefore what is the solution? Just in few lines, the solution is that we must constitute a tourism survival revival strategic task force. That is the first solution. And second is need to create R&D based more extensive research to deal with such situation. And third is create a database for the academia and industry. And fourth solution is app need to be created so that every unemployed student worker may enroll in this app, and Ministry of Tourism may further segmenting the data and may go for skill training and absorb them in the industry. And fifth solution is to promote the local tourism. Local jobs need to be created itself at the village level. That is very important. But our pedagogy, particularly in tourism and hospitality industry, still relies on the outdated education system that really lays emphasis on what to think rather than how to think. Therefore, a vast majority of the teachers lack soft skills, particularly in this sector, that inhibit their knowledge disseminating capability, and thus we need to train all the stakeholders, including the teachers, to develop the art of critical thinking. That is very important. And in the end, when I was thinking and I was remembering back to the future shock and too much change in too short a period of time, Toffler said back then 50 years ago that the capability will be more important in the future than capability. That's very important. And in the COVID-19 pandemic too, it is the ability to cope with change, cope with the new normal that will separate the men from the boys. And the business may take anything between 9 to 14, 24 months to start coming back. Now third wave is already there, and we are expecting that everything will be normal maybe in the mid of this year. So I will conclude my address by saying this, that the world is not full bed of roses. It is full of hardship and struggle. So post-COVID is a challenge to the whole world, but take it as an opportunity for a sustainable development of tourism. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening the audience with your valuable insights and also sharing the coping strategies for the same. I now invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Padma Shri Professor Najma Akhtar Ma'am, to kindly deliver the presidential address.
Thank you. After such learned lectures, I feel that I have nothing more to add except to say that I want to welcome you, and I'm very happy that this occasion has come to Jamia. So anyway, as it is is it essential? So I'll welcome Professor S.P. Bansal, the VC of Central University of Himachal Pradesh, as the chief guest. Shri Vinod Zutshi, former Secretary, Ministry of Tourism. Professor Parikshit Singh Manhas, University of Jammu. Professor Muhammad Asaduddin, Jamia Millia, and Dr. Sara Hussain, Jamia Millia, and Dr. Professor Nimit Chaudhary, Jamia Millia, and Dr. Nusrat Yasmin, and in the end, Dr. Priya, who is conducting the conference in a very befitting manner. A very good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Sara Hussain, the chair of the conference, for inviting me to preside over the conference and to welcome the guests in the third International Conference on Entrepreneurship and Entrepreneurialism in Tourism and Hospitality, organized by the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management at Jamia Millia Islamia and sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. I feel honored to have with us Professor S.P. Bansal, the Vice Chancellor of Central University of Himachal, Shri Vinod Zutshi, former Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, Professor Parikshit Singh Manhas, Director, School of Hospitality and Tourism Management, and University of Jammu, and all our guests and speakers who are with us today. We couldn't have collected a better collection of experts. So I'm very happy. I take this opportunity to welcome you and also welcome all the dignitaries and the participants from national and international institutions to this conference. I congratulate Dr. Sara Hussain, Professor Nimit Chaudhary, Organizing Secretary, and Dr. Nusrat Yasmin, as well as the members of Organizing Committee, for providing us with the opportunity to be here on this platform today, and also the collection of all the papers which are going to be presented here. That is going to be a very useful thing. Put it on the web also. This conference is organized to develop a greater understanding of the process and context of enterprise and entrepreneur in tourism and hospitality sectors. It aims to provide key concepts which will enable participants to gain expertise in this industry in a more comprehensive manner. This industry is highly concerned with innovation, competition, productivity, income development, and of course, job creation. With the number of youth in India, we are definitely going to take a big part of the jobs which are coming up. The approach to tourism and hospitality business focuses on a very wide variety of sectors, namely small commercial enterprises, and it attempts to foster the development of new sustainable enterprises by having the capacity to create, coordinate, and manage risks and profits. Global entrepreneurship in the tourism and hospitality sectors must strengthen its competitiveness and its spirit to increase the economic productivity and development. Today, we would also like to take opportunity. I would like to take the opportunity to apprise you of Jamia's latest achievements. One of the finest institutions of learning in India, Jamia has become a leader in providing accessible and affordable quality education, emerging as one of the most progressive educational institutions in India. It's a multi-faculty institution and quite different from those who are just looking after one or two faculties. One thing that sets us apart in our commitment is delivering the best experiential education and staying abreast with the changing trends in pedagogy, technology, and innovation. What makes Jamia unique is the relentless pursuit of excellence and inculcation of critical thinking that encourages people to express, debate, and solve problems. Here, all the departments embody Jamia's deep-rooted culture of learning by doing and sharing insights. Sorry. ये लेके जाओ. I would like to mention that Jamias make a spectacular performance in the NIRF ranking in the country and is now considered as in the top 6 universities of the nation. Our university has remarkably improved in international rankings also, because we do not stop at the national rankings. We go ahead and see where we stand in the world. Very recently, Jamia Millia has been accredited with NAC A++, and it's the most coveted grade. And the credit goes to all the learned colleagues who are here. And they are putting in a lot of efforts to make it better and better. My Department of Tourism is comparatively young and has started and is now going up and is one of the most desired department by students as well as by the employers. Once again, I welcome you all. The conference will certainly encourage the delegates to participate in an increasing number of all its activities. And these activities and discussion for the next 3 days, it has been very properly laid out. I could see, and I'm very excited what will be the outcome of this. And I'm also grateful that all the top bosses, the top ranked people who matter in this area are with us. So it was a pleasure listening to the experts who were speaking till now, and you have increased my knowledge about tourism and what it stands for. And I wish everyone a safe and fruitful conference, and you can give us how to improve it further, because my concern is to increase to improve my department in Jamia, and also make the students aware of what is happening outside and how to go ahead with it. So we'll be coming back to you again and again to get help and guidance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of encouragement. It means a lot to us, and we shall definitely keep driving us in near future also under your able guidance. Now, moving forward, gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order. It makes sense of our past, bring peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. I invite our former head and conference co-chair, Professor Nimit Chaudhary, sir, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Priya. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all other virtues. And on this August occasion, we would not like to be faltering in our duty to acknowledge the accomplished ladies and gentlemen who have graced this inaugural session. On behalf of Dr. Sara, the HOD, and in fact the entire department, I'd like to take this opportunity to place on record our appreciation for our guest. And let me begin with the guests first. Professor Bansal is among the tallest academics in tourism industry in the country, four-time Vice Chancellor, and we understand how busy a person he is. We'd like to thank you, sir, for taking out time to be here with us on this occasion and sharing your wisdom with us. You made some very excellent points, like the new tourism ideas and stressing upon the importance of entrepreneurship in resurrecting tourism in India. A big thanks to you, Bansal sir. I've had the opportunity of working under Dushi sir, and he has always mesmerized me with his thoughts and ideas, as he did today. He highlighted the role of government and why and how government and academia and industry should come together. We appreciate you taking out time for us, sir, and we look forward to listening to you many more times. Thank you, sir. I cannot see Parikshit here, but a very popular, relatively youngster in tourism circles, one who represents India on n number of international forums. And we all saw and heard him, and we understand why he's such a darling of the audiences. Just mention a deep sense of gratitude for Professor Parikshit for taking out his time. He highlighted the various skills that are required to be a good entrepreneur, and very pointedly pointed at those 7 strategies. Source of our inspiration, very visionary, Padma Shri Professor Najma Akhtar ma'am has never failed to show us the light. He has always stood by us and motivated us to achieve greater heights. Her presence today makes all of us so very happy. As always, she had those words of wisdom for the audiences. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being here and blessing us. Ladies and gentlemen, such an event cannot happen overnight. Wheels started rolling months back. The challenge was even bigger in these uncertain times, and it required a lot of patience and wisdom. We have been fortunate enough to be guided by Professor Asaduddin, Dean of our faculty. Thank you, sir, for encouraging us all the time and now. I would also like to record a generous appreciation for the Registrar, Professor Nazim Hussain Jaffrey, sir. So your presence means a lot to us. You have surely added to the charm of this event. Back then, your office ensured that all logistical support is provided to the department for organizing this event. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to say that we all are most grateful to VC ma'am and very worthy gentlemen on this day. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. It was a pleasure. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir. We shall now break for 30 minutes and request you all to join 5 minutes prior to 5 p.m. for our next interesting session, which is a panel discussion on women tourism and hospitality entrepreneur issues and challenges. So stay tuned. Thank you one and all. Thank you.